Welcome to another video. Today, we have some sad news to share with you all. In this video, we will be discussing the celebrities who tragically passed away today. It is always heartbreaking to hear about the loss of someone we admire and look up to. So, let's take a moment to pay tribute to these amazing individuals and remember their incredible contributions to the world. Please do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload next. Benny Goson was a man whose life was a melody, a soft yet powerful tune that echoed for decades. Known for his deep love for music, Benny was a saxophonist and composer whose work touched hearts and transcended generations. He passed away at the age of 95, leaving behind a legacy of sound, friendship, and unforgettable moments. Benny Goson was born in Philadelphia on January 25, 1929. As a child, he lived in a small, warm home filled with the sounds of jazz. Benny's mother played records from musicians like Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong. The music inspired him, and he would close his eyes, listening to the melodies, dreaming of the day he could create his own. At the age of 9, Benny found his first love, the piano. He would spend hours practicing, trying to mimic the music he heard on the records. But one day, he heard the sound of a saxophone that changed everything. It was as if the instrument spoke to him directly. From that moment on, Benny knew the saxophone was his instrument. He saved up money, and soon, he had his very own. In high school, Benny met a young man who would become one of his closest friends, John Coltrane. They bonded over their shared love of jazz, practicing together and dreaming about playing for big audiences. Benny and John spent countless afternoons honing their skills, sharing records, and challenging each other to reach new heights. John was a mentor as much as he was a friend, encouraging Benny to push boundaries in his music. They would play together in small bands around the city, growing their talent and reputation. As they became more confident, the dream of becoming professional musicians didn't seem so far away. By the 1950s, Benny was becoming a respected figure in the jazz community. He played in various bands, but it wasn't long before he found a place with the iconic Dizzy Gillespie's big band. This was where Benny's career took off. Playing alongside other greats, Benny's sound matured and deepened. His saxophone wasn't just an instrument, it was his voice, his way of telling stories. During this time, Benny began to compose. His music was filled with emotion, beauty, and a certain eloquence that made people stop and listen. Pieces like Whisper Not and I Remember Clifford became classics, revered by musicians and fans alike. These compositions reflected Benny's soul, quiet yet powerful, simple yet profound. One of the most touching moments of Benny's career was when he wrote, I Remember Clifford. Clifford Brown, a fellow musician and dear friend, had died in a tragic car accident at just 25 years old. The loss shook Benny to his core. He poured his grief, love, and admiration into this piece. The song became a beautiful tribute to his friend, a reminder that even in death, music can keep someone's spirit alive. I Remember Clifford was more than just a song. It was a heartfelt expression of loss, yet it also conveyed hope. Every time Benny played it, he felt as though Clifford was with him, still playing, still creating. Audiences felt that too, and the song became a staple in the jazz world, a symbol of remembrance and friendship. Though his career was soaring, Benny never let his success distance him from his family. He married his love, Bobby, and together they built a life filled with love and laughter. Benny's home was often filled with music, as his children grew up hearing their father play and compose. He always made time for them, balancing the demands of the road with his duties as a husband and father. Benny's family was his anchor. No matter how busy his schedule became, he would come home to them, sharing stories of his travels and new compositions. His wife, Bobby, was his biggest supporter, often sitting in the front row of his performances, smiling proudly. Benny Golson was more than a musician. He was a trailblazer. His work didn't just stop at composing and performing. Benny wanted to ensure that jazz continued to evolve. He worked with countless musicians, young and old, sharing his knowledge, offering advice, and pushing them to find their unique sound. He also left his mark in Hollywood. Benny composed scores for TV shows and films, including Mission Impossible and MAS*H. His ability to convey emotion through music made him a sought-after composer in the world of television and film. Even in his later years, Benny was still actively playing and composing. He never stopped learning, always searching for new ways to express himself through his music. Jazz was changing, but Benny remained a constant, a pillar of eloquence and grace. In the world of music, there are names that everyone knows, like the pop icons of ABBA. But behind their timeless songs, there's always more to the story, musicians who contributed their own touch to make these songs unforgettable. One of these people was Roger Palm, a talented drummer who helped bring ABBA's music to life. On September 12, 2024, the music world lost a beloved figure. Roger Palm passed away at the age of 75, leaving behind a legacy of rhythm and creativity. Roger Palm wasn't a name that everyone knew, but his drumming was something millions had heard. Born in 1949 in Sweden, Roger had a love for music from an early age. He grew up surrounded by the sounds of the time, listening to rock, jazz, and pop music. It wasn't long before he picked up the drums himself, finding a passion that would shape his life. Drumming became Roger's way of expressing himself. He could sit behind his drum kit and let his sticks do the talking, creating rhythms that made people tap their feet and move to the music. His love for drumming grew, and soon enough, Roger found himself playing in different bands, honing his skills and making a name for himself as one of Sweden's top drummers. In the 1970s, something incredible happened in Sweden. A band called ABBA exploded onto the world stage, and their songs quickly became some of the most recognizable in music history. With hits like Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, and Waterloo, ABBA's music brought joy to millions. But behind the catchy melodies and powerful vocals was a rhythm section that held everything together, and Roger Palm was an essential part of that. Roger played drums on several ABBA tracks, helping to create the infectious beats that made people get up and dance. His work wasn't always in the spotlight, but it was crucial. Without a strong, steady beat, even the most beautiful song can feel empty. Roger understood that his role was to support the music, to make it feel alive and full of energy. One of the most memorable times for Roger was working on the song, Knowing Me, Knowing You. It was a song filled with emotion, and Roger's drumming gave it a pulse, helping to drive the story of love and heartbreak forward. His ability to blend strength and sensitivity in his playing was one of the reasons why ABBA's music was so special. Roger wasn't just keeping time, he was adding to the emotion of the song, making it feel real and relatable. Though Roger Palm's name might not have been as famous as ABBA's, those in the music industry knew how important he was. He was known for his humility and dedication to his craft. To him, it wasn't about fame, it was about making great music and contributing to something bigger than himself. Over the years, Roger played with many other artists as well. One of these was Ted Gärdestad, a talented Swedish singer-songwriter. Roger's drumming helped bring Ted's songs to life, giving them a dynamic energy that made people listen. It wasn't just about playing notes for Roger, it was about making music that spoke to the heart. Despite all the success, Roger remained grounded. He wasn't one to chase the limelight. Instead, he was happiest when he was behind his drum kit, playing his part in creating music that would touch people's lives. When the news broke that Roger Palm had passed away, many people who had worked with him over the years shared their memories. They talked about his kindness, his professionalism, and most of all, his incredible talent. Though he may not have been a household name, Roger's drumming was a part of the soundtrack to so many lives. For fans of ABBA and the artists he played with, Roger's work will continue to be remembered. Every time Dancing Queen or Knowing Me, Knowing You plays on the radio, Roger's steady beat is there, reminding everyone of the importance of a great drummer. He may be gone, but his music will live on, keeping his memory alive for generations to come. At the age of 75, Roger Palm lived a full life. He spent decades doing what he loved, creating music that brought joy to millions. Though he has passed away, his spirit remains in every song he played on, every beat he crafted, and every rhythm that moved people. As we remember Roger, we also remember the beauty of collaboration in music. It's not just the singers or the songwriters who make music special, it's every person who contributes their unique talent. Roger Palm was one of those people. He didn't need to be in the spotlight to make a difference. His quiet influence, his steady beat, and his love for music will always be a part of ABBA's legacy and the world of music. Goodbye, Roger. Thank you for the music, the rhythm, and the memories. You'll be missed, but never forgotten. Philip "Dad Day" Harvey was a man of music, heart, and soul. Born in 1963, he grew up in London during a time when music was becoming a powerful voice for communities. From a young age, Philip was drawn to the rhythm and beats that filled the streets, homes, and hearts of the people around him. His early love for music set him on a path that would shape his life and the lives of many others. As a child, Philip was always curious. He loved to tap his fingers on any surface, turning everyday objects into drums. His parents often smiled when they saw him lost in his world of sounds. They knew he was special, but they had no idea just how far his passion would take him. In his teenage years, Philip's love for music grew even stronger. He started experimenting with different genres, from reggae to funk, and began DJing at local events. It wasn't long before people started to notice him. His talent for blending sounds, finding the perfect beat, and setting the mood made him stand out. But it wasn't just about the music for Philip, it was about the connection. He loved seeing people come together, dance, and feel the joy that music brought. By the time Philip was in his 20s, his reputation as a talented DJ and producer had spread. It was during this time that he met Jazzy B, a fellow musician with a shared vision. Together, they formed Soul to Soul, a music collective that would change the landscape of British music. Philip, known by his nickname Dad Day, became a core member of the group. His deep understanding of rhythm, production, and the cultural significance of music made him an integral part of their success. The collective's unique blend of R&B, soul, reggae, and dance resonated with people not just in the UK, but around the world. In 1989, Soul to Soul released their debut album, Club Classics Volume 1, which included the iconic hit Back to Life. The song became an anthem of the late 80s and early 90s, and Philip's contributions to its production were key. The success of Soul to Soul wasn't just about chart-topping hits, it was about the message of unity, love, and positivity that the group represented. Over the years, Soul to Soul continued to release music, and Philip remained at the heart of it. He was not just a producer, he was a mentor, a friend, and a guiding light for many young artists who were trying to find their way in the industry. His calm demeanor, his deep love for music, and his belief in the power of art to bring people together made him beloved by all who knew him. Even as the years went by and music trends changed, Philip stayed true to his roots. He continued to DJ, produce, and inspire. For him, music was never just about fame or money. It was about the people, the emotions, and the stories that each beat, each lyric, and each melody carried. On a quiet day in 2024, the news spread that Philip "Dad Day" Harvey had passed away at the age of 60. The music world was heartbroken. Tributes poured in from around the globe, from fellow musicians, fans, and all who had been touched by his work. His passing marked the end of an era, but his legacy lives on in the music he created, the lives he touched, and the hearts he inspired. Soul to Soul's music continues to play, reminding everyone of the joy, love, and connection that Philip believed in so deeply. Though he may be gone, Philip, Dad Day, Harvey's spirit will forever live in the rhythm of the music he helped create. His story, one of passion, love, and unity, is a reminder that music is more than just sound, it's a way of life, a way of bringing people together, and a way of leaving a lasting impact on the world. As the world reflects on Philip's life, there is a sense of gratitude. He was more than just a musician, he was a visionary. His contributions to Soul and the music industry will be remembered for generations to come. His warmth, his wisdom, and his unwavering love for music left an indelible mark on everyone who had the privilege of knowing him. And so, as we say goodbye to Philip, Dad Day, Harvey, we also celebrate him. His life was a beautiful melody, full of highs and lows, harmony and rhythm. He may no longer be with us, but his music, his kindness, and his legacy will live on forever. Rest in peace, Dad Day. You will be missed, but never forgotten. Rupert Keegan was born with the roar of engines in his veins. From a young age, his love for cars was evident. While most children played with toy cars, Rupert would sit by the side of the road, listening to the hum of passing vehicles, imagining himself behind the wheel. His father, Mike Keegan, was a motorsport enthusiast and passed on his passion to young Rupert. They would spend weekends together at the racetrack, watching races and dreaming of the day Rupert would sit in a Formula One car. The thrill of speed, the danger, the noise, all of it captivated the boy's heart. By the time he was 10, Rupert had his first go-kart, a small but powerful machine. His mother would worry, her hands wringing nervously as Rupert tore around the track. But she saw the light in his eyes and the joy it brought him. Racing was his calling. Rupert's teenage years were spent in pursuit of his racing dream. He worked tirelessly, practicing on the track, refining his skills. His natural charisma and charm made him a favorite among fans and fellow racers alike. But it was his dedication that set him apart. He wasn't just racing for fame, he was racing because it was the only place he felt truly alive. At 23, Rupert entered the world of Formula One. It was the 1970s, an era when racing was as much about bravery as it was about skill. Cars were fast, dangerous, and the tracks were unforgiving. But Rupert wasn't intimidated. In fact, he thrived in the adrenaline-fueled atmosphere. His debut in 1977 for Hesketh Racing put him on the map. His wild driving style and confident persona made him a standout. He wasn't just a driver, he was a showman. He loved the attention, the adoring fans, and the cameras. Yet behind the charm was a fierce competitor. Rupert was determined to make a name for himself, not just as a racer but as a legend. Formula One wasn't an easy career, though. Rupert faced numerous challenges. The competition was fierce, and the technology of the cars was always evolving. He often found himself in difficult situations, his team struggled to provide him with a competitive car, and the crashes, sometimes terrifying, became part of his journey. Rupert was involved in several serious accidents, moments that could have ended his career or worse, his life. But every time, he came back stronger, refusing to let fear take over. His resilience earned him respect in the racing community. He was not just racing for trophies, but for the love of the sport. After several years in Formula One, Rupert transitioned to sports car racing, including the prestigious Le Mans 24-hour race. The Le Mans race required not just speed but endurance, strategy, and teamwork. Rupert, with his vast experience and intuitive driving, found his place in this new arena. The 24-hour race was grueling. Drivers had to rely on their instincts, push through physical and mental exhaustion, and work closely with their co-drivers. Rupert thrived in this environment, proving once again that his passion for racing went beyond the glamour of F1. It was in Le Mans that Rupert showcased his true racing spirit. He wasn't just racing against others, he was racing against time, exhaustion, and sometimes, himself. As the years passed, Rupert's racing career began to slow down. But his love for motorsport never waned. He remained active in the racing community, mentoring young drivers and sharing stories of his time on the track. His experiences were invaluable, not just for the technical advice but for the wisdom he imparted. Rupert always emphasized the human side of racing. It wasn't just about the cars or the speed, it was about the relationships, the teamwork, and the moments of pure joy when everything came together. His charismatic personality continued to make him a beloved figure in the world of motorsport, long after he had hung up his helmet. Rupert Keegan, who has died aged 69, after a long battle with cancer, was thought of as a playboy racer. Some suggested more James Hunt than James himself. Certainly he was a rich kid and sponsors such as the top-shelf magazine Penthouse and Durex added to the image, but in truth he took his racing quite seriously. He won 2 major championships, started in 25 Grands Prix and had podium finishes in the World Sports Car Championship. Against his Twitter handle he wrote, "Connoisseur of life," and he certainly enjoyed it to the full, flamboyant, good-looking and the son of a wealthy airline boss. In a trailer for his never-completed film project called Made It Out Alive he said, "I suppose I was a naughty boy but I was one of the guys who had a great time," while Emerson Fittipaldi added, "If Rupert said there was a good party, you just had to go." Rupert Keegan passed away at the age of 69, leaving behind a legacy that will be remembered for generations. His death was met with an outpouring of love from fans, fellow racers, and the entire motorsport community. They remembered him not just as a driver but as a man who lived life to the fullest. In tributes, people spoke of his infectious smile, his love for racing, and his ability to make everyone around him feel special. Rupert wasn't just a racer, he was a friend, a mentor, and a larger-than-life figure who made an indelible mark on the sport. The racing world mourned his loss but celebrated the life he lived. Rupert had chased his dreams and lived them out on the track, leaving behind a legacy that will inspire generations of drivers to come. Rupert's family and friends gathered to celebrate his life in a quiet ceremony. His children spoke of their father's love and dedication, not just to racing but to them. He was a man who balanced the high-octane world of motorsport with a deep sense of family and loyalty. His wife, who had stood by his side through the ups and downs, remembered the man behind the helmet. The father who played with his children, the husband who would return home after races and sit quietly, reflecting on life beyond the track. Rupert was a complex man, charming and adventurous, but also deeply caring and thoughtful. For those who knew him, Rupert was not just a racing legend, he was a man with a big heart, someone who loved life and lived it to the fullest. Rupert Keegan may be gone, but his legacy lives on. Young drivers still look up to him, inspired by his passion, determination, and charisma. His life was a testament to following one's dreams, no matter the challenges. His story, filled with triumphs and setbacks, will continue to inspire generations of racers and fans alike. Rupert Keegan wasn't just a driver, he was a symbol of what it means to live with purpose, passion, and heart.